prisoner or something like that, I don't think I would proclaim them the world ruler who was supposed to come out of Palestine to, the Messiah to save the world, the most precious prophecy of my own people, even if it meant saving my skin. I don't think I would go that far. I do think I would try to flee. I do think I would have tried to get the hell out of there, as I've told you. I would have tried to go as far as India, I think, or down to the Arabian Peninsula. I'd have gotten away from where all the Romans were, because I could have seen that this was going to end up in a disaster. But I wouldn't be one of the people who would go and, flatter them and be a sycophant and a servile, what do you call it? A servile sycophant, someone who plays up to them. I don't think I could do that. I don't know what you feel, what you could do. So I can't admire the people we're supposed to admire for doing this kind of thing, but they're the ones who survive. If you want to survive, that's what you have to do. Okay, so the righteous teacher and the priest here are the same person. I tell you, the zealots, as I was talking about this, killed all the high priests when they took over the situation in Jerusalem around 68 AD while the siege was going on. And Josephus tells you that Josephus hates them. He hates them. They let the Idumeans, the people he calls Idumans, in. Now, what the relationship of the zealots and the Idumans is not clear. But I theorize in my work, Idumans would be people from the other side of the Jordan, Arabs really, but they called the Herodians Idumans too, because they were Arab type rulers from Idumean background. That's what the Jews would have called Edomites. Josephus calls them Idumans. In the Bible, it would be Edomites, people across Jordan and down towards the Negev. The Herodians would have been called Edomites by the Jews at that time. Now, I think these violent Idumans were somehow in league with the Zealots. I think they were probably Herodian men of war who were not willing to live under Roman rule. Most Herodians would be. But these are all codes. You say, why are they using these codes? It's infuriating, all these codes, but that's what we have to live by. Anyway, the Idumans and the Zealots go through the city and kill all the high priests, and in particular they go after Ananus. Now this Ananus, we know, is responsible for the death of James in 62 in the Antiquities. He took advantage of an interregnum of the Roman governors, and he had James and some of his followers brought up on a charge of blasphemy and had them stoned. Now, what would the blasphemy charge relate to? Probably going into the temple, as James is pictured as doing, as a zealot or opposition high priest, and doing a Zadokite atonement, a Zodic type atonement, the atonement by a righteous one, as the letter of James talks about the atonement of a righteous one. The fervent prayer, talking about Elijah at the end of the letter of James, of a righteous one, much prevails, it says. And that's what the high priest was supposed to do once a year on Yom Kippur. Go into the temple and make atonement on behalf of the whole people. They could have put him up for blasphemy on that, because you're supposed to pronounce the forbidden name of God in that atonement in Yom Kippur, the high priest. And the official definition of blasphemy in the Talmud is pronouncing the forbidden name of God. So I think all those things tie up, but I can't say that with any certainty. But why is Josephus so angry about all that? Because when they kill this Ananus, they also kill his friend. What's his friend called? Jesus ben Gamala. This is another high priest who's mentioned in the Talmud. He was the high priest before Ananus. And Josephus talks about this person in the Vita. He loves this person. And it makes it very clear that they kill this person and Ananus. And it also is very clear that they violate their bodies, their dead bodies. What's it called when you violate someone's dead body? There's a word for it in English.
Desecrate.
Desecrate, something like that. Huh?
Necrophilia?
Well, not quite that far. I think they probably maybe cut off their ears or their sex parts or something. Maybe they urinated on them. Why would they have such hatred for these people? What had they done? I think they killed the righteous teacher in their eyes. You see, to my mind, this James guy is the head of the whole opposition alliance. Zealots, Messiness, Essenes, all the opposition groups. Now, I don't get that from me. A guy called Robert Eisler already proposed this even before the Dead Sea Scrolls in a book written in the 20s and 30s called The Messiah, Jesus, and John the Baptist, that James was the opposition high priest. That guy was a genius. I don't know how he figured all that out without the Dead Sea Scrolls, but here now we have an opposition high priest here functioning here. Most of my colleagues don't even read that book, so what can I do? The Messiah, Jesus, and John the Baptist by Robert Eisler, E-I-S-L-E-R. Same first two letters as me, but he was smarter than I am. But he didn't have the scrolls to work with. He was trying to reconstruct the passages in Josephus as Josephus would have written them, not how the scribes might have changed them. Anyway, so going back here to column 2. There. So the interpretation has to do with the last days, and there's the violent ones and covenant breakers who do not believe all that they heard that was going to happen to the last generation from the mouth of the priest, in whose heart God put the intelligence to interpret all the words of his servants, the prophets, through whom God foretold all that was coming to his people. So this is a very pious group. They believe in the prophecies, but they have a particular interpretation. Now this is, Habakkuk is at the time of the Babylonians. So he talks about raising up the Chaldeans. And here's where our key group comes in that I've been trying to emphasize all the time, the Kittim. Its interpretation concerns the Kittim. They're introduced. So the Chaldeans in the Habakkuk prophecies are the Kittim in our time. That's why it's again so important. Who are the Kittim? Are they Greeks or are they Romans? Are they the Seleucids or are they Imperial Roman armies? That's how you have to date this. Now, watch the description of the Kittim. Now, if you read this, I don't see how you can come to any other conclusion but that these are the Romans and the Imperial Romans. Read it. Its interpretation concerns the Kittim, who are swift and strong in war, causing many to perish by the sword, and all the world to fall under their dominion. Seleucids? I doubt it. And the evil ones that did not believe in the law of God. So there's the Kittim, or the foreign armies, and the evil ones are the Jews who are backsliding. Not the Jews like us, but the Jews who are, there are two groups there. Wherever you see evil ones, it's bad Jews. And wherever you see